beautiful people.
Kind of curious, what bands and composers kind of give you inspiration both musically and lyrically?
Obviously the fact that we have this mixture between classical music and death metal, obviously, we get inspiration from both sides, I would say.
Yeah.
So we're fans, of classical music, and from that point of view, I would say, at least for us, what we enjoy the most is the composers from the Romantic period, so 19th century, and that means Beethoven, that means Mozart, Brahms, and obviously even a lot of Italian composers like Paganini or whatever. And we're also big fans of some composers from themes for motion pictures, like John Williams and everything. So that's one side of our music. On the other hand, we actually like a lot of different music styles. So I would not say, of course, for which regards the band, we have our bases are in the death metal, and even if we play pretty much, I would say melodic music because of the orchestra and of the classical thing, we're still, I would say, for the most, we're still big fans of the old school death metal, especially from America. So like Cannibal Corpse, Morbid Angel, and not only, obviously, a lot of European bands like Vader, like Decapitated. There's different. For every aspect of music, there's always something to get inspiration from.
Yeah.
So on the other hand, of course, everybody of us is a big fan of rock music. I listen to a lot of rock grunge music. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
every one of us has different inspiration. Of course, not everything is into our music, but but it's always good to. I think what is important is not just listening to one certain kind of music, but it's important to be able to distinguish and enjoy good music and distinguish it from bad music, because obviously what is well done is it could be whatever kind of music, but if it's well done, you can feel it. And there's always something to learn in music in general. So
when writing, do you guys generally write the classical parts or the metal parts first?
It's I would say, at this point, especially with Agony, where actually we introduced the orchestral parts throughout all the music, and not just intros and outros, but it's becoming something that is actually orchestral music. The process is pretty much natural, and I wouldn't say that it's something that could be at this point that could be divided. You know what I mean? It's like. We at this point we think Fleshgod's music as Fleshgod's music, not just death metal and classical music or whatever. So we never feel like, okay, we're doing certain riffs and then add something, or on the other side, like writing classical stuff and then add metal. I would say we already think our music in this sense, how it is. Of course, sometimes it could be that the rhythm session and the guitar riffs is something from which we get the inspiration first, and then we try to think it in our way. On the other hand, sometimes you just have the idea of a main theme, like like if it was a movie thing, and from that you obviously develop the rhythmic guitar and the solos and the drums, but yeah, I mean, we at this point we usually, when we think about a melody or something that could be like the chorus of a song, we already most of the times we already think it like one of our songs. So with that kind of approach, actually.
Regardless of whether the band is still around or not, or any of the bands are still around, who would you want to be on your ideal show that you could actually play a show with?
So even, I mean, whatever band, even
any band you want, no matter who it is.
I would say Beethoven, probably.
Wow.
Yeah, if he was alive and he could, be the director of an orchestra, we would really like to play that. And yeah, but I would say, me personally, I would say Queen, because I'm big Queen fan.
Okay.
And even if it's so different, I would have loved to have the chance to play with them. And of course, on the other side, for which regards bands, that are still playing and everything, I would love to play with Behemoth, because I'm a big fan of that band, and I have great respect for what they do, and I really like their shows and the way they, the conception of their music. So that would be awesome. I think it could happen. So I hope someday it will happen. We played some shows in festival with them.
Not quite the same though.
But yeah, but being on tour with those guys would be great.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course.
Awesome. On the album, on the CD, The Agony, all the songs, they just flow so well from one song to the next.
Thanks.
And is that important to you guys as a band, to have one song lead to the next and flow like a whole album, as opposed to like essentially a mixtape?
Yeah, you got it. I mean, the I would say the fact that we're playing this orchestral metal, I would say, it's brings to certain things that we really care of, and one of those is actually the fact of composing albums like if it was an entire opera with different acts. So that's how we think about the music, because I think in general, but especially for what we do, music is like architecture. So the balance and not only the riffs, but how the riffs are connected, how the structure of a song is made, is very important. And I think this balance and this architecture is very important, even in the entire composition, in the entire album, not just on the songs, because it's you need to have different moments in the album that gives you this feeling. And of course, what we do when we write an album is thinking our music like that. And actually, it's I think it's kind of characteristic thing at this point of Fleshgod, because we do exactly the same thing on live shows. It's all flowing. There's all this music behind the speeches, and there's never a moment we just actually stop completely, because we like to bring this idea of show, this idea of it's like a stream of consciousness. So even from the visual point of view, we like to do theater in some way, and that's the way we bring out our music, both on the recordings and also on the live show aspect. So yeah.
Okay. Great answer. This one is from a buddy of mine named Andrew Lamb. He wants to know about Paulo's opera vocals, or opera-style vocals. Was he trained for that, or was he just a badass from birth?
I would say he was a badass from birth. Everyone has, his skills, and actually this extension of his vocal is pretty natural. But obviously, even watching the videos on YouTube and everything, the first show we started, we did with this element. Many times it happened that he had problems, or sometimes was good, sometimes it was bad. But and obviously, like every skill you need to bring on live shows every day, you need to work on it and make it better. And at this point, I would say he's getting better and better doing it. So it's that's a good thing, because it's consolidating what we wanted to do. But when we started doing that, when we brought the idea of putting these clean opera vocals in the songs, actually it came like, okay, this is cool. Let's see who is the best at doing it. So we actually tried, because we like to do a lot of experiments, even when we're recording. So it's never decided from the beginning who is going to do something until we don't check, that actually he is the best at doing that. So it came out that he was the right guy to do that. Nice. Of course, Cristiano would have some more problems, because he has to play like 2 or 3 solos every song, so it would not be
exactly.
the same. Yeah. But yeah, that's how it happened. We just tried, and we felt it was a good solution. And now he's getting better, and we're very satisfied on how's the final result, actually.
It sounds great to me. I love him. So.
Thank you.